What's up, guys? Back in the kitchen. I don't have like a funky backdrop, like, they're gonna spend like tons of money on this Zoom shit, whatever. Hey, build a background. You're in a stadium. No, I'm not. I'm in my kitchen, like everybody else, like a jackass. Some pictures here. So this is part 2 of some Instagram questions, and I believe I have one from Twitter. Pretty cool. I appreciate you guys. This lighting couldn't get any worse. It is so hot in LA. I was out biking all day, so I have this weird thing on my nose. Don't think I'm a nurse and I'm a do-gooder and I'm like helping people. I'm not. I'm an asshole. I hate the mask too, by the way. I like getting prickly heat from sweating and running in the mask. Really? What is it? Is this going to be a new accessory, by the way? Like, this is starting to piss me off. Is it going to be like, oh, do you have the new mask? Like, it's going to be like shoes. They're going to become that expensive. I'm going to have to match it to my shirt, to my shoes, Got to coordinate. I'm not doing it. Please don't make me do it. I can't do it. I hate wearing the mask when I'm working out. But I did go out today, and I had the bandana, but I had my sunglasses, so it made like a weird... What am I talking about? This is what it is. This is what it's become. I'm rambling in my kitchen. Whatever. Let's get to the questions, right? So I have some questions. I'm sorry if I look like shit. This is just what it is. Okay. This is the lighting. That light might actually go out. Not because I didn't pay the bill, just because it's been tricky. Whatever. I just stared at it. Now I can't see. Please let this end. Ramon Sanchez asks, what's the best part of doing Church of What's Happening Now with Joe Diaz? I'll tell you what the best part is. Doing the Church of What's Happening Now with Joe Diaz. Just that. And Lee Sayette. You said and Lee Sayette too. Lee is amazing also. I've known Joey so long. I think I met Joey in 95 or something like that at the Comedy Store. He probably one of the funniest, realest, rawest people I've ever met. I remember opening for him in Philadelphia, and two of my brothers came, and Joey was talking about the kidnapping incident, right? If you follow Joey, you know the kidnapping incident. So he was talking about the kidnapping incident, and my brother Billy was like, "Yo, he really kidnapped somebody?" And I'm like, I guess I didn't grow up with him. He grew up somewhere else, and so I was like, he goes, "Yo, that's not cool." I'm like, "All right, relax." I didn't realize somebody in our neighborhood was kidnapped a little bit before that, and he goes, "God forbid if I would have brought him with me, he might have rushed that stage." I'm like, that would have been hilarious. And Joe Diaz can handle himself, so I'm not worried. We've all seen him do karate. Joey is so funny. I can remember like waiting tables at the Comedy Store way back in the mid-90s, whatever. Joey would go on, he did this bit about being a babysitter or some shit, and he'd be like, "As I come in, and as he's walking, his pants would fall down." And I've seen the Cuban egg roll more times than I'd like to report. I gotta be honest. Like, I should press charges on repeat. It's hysterical. That I'd literally be putting a drink down in the front row, and Joey's nuts would drop out and splash in the drink. I'm like, "I'm sorry, did you say rocks?" Because his balls are in your drink, and I apologize. Hilarious. He's truly one of my favorite. Lee Sayette, I don't know him as long as I've known Joey. Whatever. I can't speak right now. It's so fucking hot. So I'm like, are we having a heat wave, or am I going through menopause? Who knows? Anyway, so Lee Sayette, I don't know him as long as I know Joey, of course. But since I've known Lee, he's one of the sweetest, nicest, smartest guys. I mean, he's so chill. Like, if you said to me, "I'll give you $1 million," right now I have like no money. If somebody says to me, "I'll give you $1 million," if you tell me what color Lee Sayette's eyes are, I'd lose $1 million. I've never seen his eyes. They're always closed. He sits on the side. Joe gives him the stars, Death Stars. Is that what they're called? I don't get high. He gives him the Death Stars, and then Leo will be like, "Hey, how are you?" And all of a sudden he just stops talking. And it's just, he'll giggle every once in a while. The best giggle. So I guess the best part of doing it is actually being a part of the Church of What's Happening Now, which is absolutely amazing. Joey's one of the best, so is Lee. So thank you for that question, Ramon. I hope I answered it properly. I also got another question, not to group the Mexicans together. I don't know if you're Mexican, but Sanchez, I'm just, judgy. It's who I am. From Susie Gonzalez asked, who's my favorite Mexican cousin? Well, I'll have to say Susie Gonzalez, because that's my cousin. Susie is my one of my favorite cousins, Mexican or not. She's very funny, and Manny Gonzalez, Mark Gonzalez, and Steven Gonzalez are my favorite Mexican cousins, okay? Hope you enjoyed that, Susie. I don't even know if you do YouTube, but you may never see this. Anyway, they're awesome, always supportive, come out to every show. Love it. I love Mexicans. I live in LA. You know this. There's Mexicans. There's some inside me right now. It's just how life goes in the big city. So we are, who's this? Alan Carter. Lots of R's, Alan. Carter. I don't know who you're hiding from, but I get it. All right. He asked, what's one thing I would change about the industry that I'm in? Everything. The whole fucking thing. Because it's bullshit, I mean, it's amazing and then it's awful at the same time, right? Like, how great is it that I get to go around the world? I've been to Australia. I'm from South Philly. I've been to Australia. In my neighborhood, that's completely unheard of. Where I come from, it's like Australia, they don't even know where it is. And that's not like an insult that they're dumb. They just live in the now. They live in the, we gotta survive today, So they're not looking like, oh, it's possible that we could go, it's incredible that I get to go to these places knowing like the way I grew up, where I come from, and I get to go and tell dirty jokes all over the world. That's incredible, and I love that. So that is part of our industry, but stand-up is like the shitty neighborhood of the industry, you know what I mean? That's why I kind of love it, because it's gritty, and a lot of people get into stand-up because all else fails, so they're like, oh shit, I lost everything. What can I do? I'll tell jokes, Like, you'll notice, like, there's a lot of comics out there that like got in trouble on the other side of the industry, so now they're playing in our field, like, oh, this is your punishment, and you think you could just come here and hone it? Good luck, buddy. It's not gonna happen. It's a different world. It really is. And truly, I respect the art of stand-up so much because I am from the school of Mitzi Shore and the Comedy Store, and Mitzi, it's just her love for it. It'll never, you'll never find, other than Jamie Masada. I think Jamie Masada is the only one. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I know he worked for her, so maybe he got that from her, like that joy and that excitement in developing comics and things like that. And like Mitzi was, like the level is up here. I'm rambling because I don't know why. I'm an idiot. But what I'm saying is, I love stand-up, and like I said, I come from a school of real stand-ups. Like working at the Comedy Store, they were some of the best in the business, hands down. And like, I don't know who you can compare it to, because what I saw the greatest and the worst and all the in-between at the Comedy Store. And I don't know, when I started doing stand-up, I'm 13 years. February was 13 years for me. So even when I started, I was like hesitant, like, ooh, because I respect it so much. But the rest of Hollywood doesn't technically respect comedy like that, unless you're making, you're Kevin Hart, or that level, Jim Carrey, Eddie Murphy, that level of like movie stardom, stand-up movies, things like that. Stand-up movies, that's right. Eddie Murphy had a stand-up movie that was amazing, but like that kind of thing. So back then it was based on how funny you are. Now we're a little oversaturated with this social media. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I don't hate social media, but I hate it. Does that make sense? Like, maybe I'm bipolar. What do I know? I'm just saying, like, I hate the fact that somebody can go on social media, any platform, whether it be TikTok with a fucking weird dance, or showing your clit on Instagram, or a nip on Twitter, and all of a sudden you're famous, right? So then that person becomes famous, then they become what the industry follows, because it feels like everybody stopped creating, and now they're like, oh, this person has this many followers, so they're the next big thing. And to me, I think that's bullshit. So I guess that's what I would change, and probably not ramble like I just did for the past 6 minutes. I'm assuming it was 6. I'm not, it's one of my favorite numbers. Julius Erving. Anyway, I've been watching a lot of old school basketball. My nephews got me crazy from that. And somebody asked, let's go to another question, because somebody asked who inspires you. But I want to look up what inspires you. I'm sorry. Kiki Doll 007 asked, what inspires you? And that's a great question, because every day I feel like I get inspired by different things, like I watched 1,000 clips of Julius Erving, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird basically saved the league. To me, I'm a South Philly girl. Julius Erving created the game. Michael Jordan perfected it, right? So this whole Michael Jordan thing, on ESPN, got me excited. My nephew, he's 8, he's obsessed with basketball. So, I mean, he just wants to be Joel Embiid, but so we started talking, and I was watching, I remember as a kid, I was a big Larry Bird fan. Of course, Julius was a little bit before Bird. Bird was still, college. I watched him and Magic go at it, Indiana, Michigan State. Like, that's old school rivals, 2 of the greatest ever. Just excitement-wise, they brought the excitement to the game. But then I remember, like, I was a bad student, right? I wouldn't read, I wouldn't do anything, I wouldn't do my homework. I would play hooky a lot, and either my mom or my older brother, somebody got me a Larry Bird book. They were like, here, read this, and I'm like, oh, Larry Bird, I like him. And I read it, and I was so inspired, and I couldn't put the book down. So lately I have been feeling like I'm not inspired. And I was like, this guy loved what he did so much. He dedicated his entire life to basketball. If he would stay and practice for hours, practice. Not to shit on Allen Iverson. You're going to talk to me about practice. Anyway, I'm rambling again. This is going to be called Rambling Rose, this one, because I'm just ramble today. It's too hot. I'm driving around. I don't know what to do. I don't know when we're getting out of here, and I'm starting to freak out. Hi, back to you. So what inspires me is little things like that. I love it. My mom is my biggest inspiration. She's probably the greatest person on the planet. So that's just how it is. And, single mother of 10 kids. We don't get any cooler than that. Every once in a while, I'll think about, God forbid, if this quarantine shit happened when we were kids. Can you imagine a single mom? When my mom was single, my dad left her, she was probably 38. I know 38-year-olds that are full-blown idiots. You know what I mean? Like, barely put pants on to go out of the house. Can you imagine 38 years old and you have 10 children, 15 years apart from the ages of 3 to 18? What? So if we were enclosed in that little South Philly row home when we were kids, I mean, my mother was like, God forbid if that ever happened. If that happened, honey, I would have snapped. I don't know how you didn't snap anyway, because we weren't like that. But if it would rain out and we had to be in technically, because, where are we going to go? You can't go on the playground and run around. You get sick. Come in here sick, I'll kill you. That's my mother. So we would make up games to play in our house. And there was this one game where we would sit on, like, my brothers would get on the floor. Because we would fly faster, the girls were littler. So we would sit on their feet and they would kick us across the room. Very exciting. Kick us in the air, midair, right to the window. And my brother Jimmy, who's very strong, we called him Bam Bam because he doesn't know his own strength. He was doing it to my brother Johnny, and Johnny went through the window. Always funny. But we got a lot of trouble. For one, we broke the window. For two, Johnny broke his arm. And for three, it's expensive. And my mother used to tell us, don't get hurt. If you get hurt, too bad. My brother Jimmy, one time, he hammered a nail through his thumb. And instead of my mom calling my dad to tell him she needed him to come take Jimmy to the, because my dad was at work, she was like, oh, well, I'll take you. She didn't have a license, so she put him in a wagon, a red wagon, and wheeled him to the hospital. Do you know how awful it is to have a nail in your thumb and just get, again, rambling, ranting? She inspires me because she didn't snap. Larry Bird inspires me. Julius Erving inspires me. Dumb things like that inspire me. My mom's not dumb. Anyway, Darren McGowan asked, he's trying to offend my mother, I guess. He asked, can I substitute Mountain Dew for 7-Up in the 7-Up cake? Whatever floats your boat, buddy. Like, seriously, Darren? I gotta be honest, I don't know if I've ever had Mountain Dew. You must be from Ohio or some shit, because that's like the house wine of the Midwest, right? I'm making it, you probably call it pop too, which is disgusting. And for that, I'll fight you. I will fight you. Try it. I got to put that recipe up. So look up 7-Up cake. I swear it's not like a family secret. I swear it's out there, because I think another one my mom makes was whiskey cake. And somewhere I read that that was like Abraham Lincoln's favorite cake. And I'm like, one, okay, how did you know? Two, okay, cool, whiskey, what? I think it was Abraham Lincoln. Nobody ever said I was smart. I read a book about Larry Bird in school instead of anything else. But I'm just saying, if you want Mountain Dew, put Mountain Dew in it, buddy. Look at this. Sore throat. Here it is. I'm dead. I'll be dead. Probably allergies. One time I asked my mom if I had allergies, and she's like, oh, honey, we're not Italian. So then as an adult, I got diagnosed with having allergies, and I'm like, Mom, look who's Italian. Probably from anyway, so I'm not Italian, I'm 100% Irish, but obviously 9 brothers and sisters. Let's see who, how do I feel about, what? I can't, oh, Dina asked, how do you deal with Dice? He seems tough. He is tough. Because he's a perfectionist. He's nutty butters. I love it. We have the best time on the road, even though we fight like brother and sister. A lot of people are like, oh, you fight like husband and wife. I think we fight like brother and sister. We were engaged a long time ago, and then I regained consciousness, so we broke up. But we have so much fun on the road. It's so dumb, and we argue about the dumbest things. But I love that because we can argue about anything and never really get mad at each other. Does that make sense? So that's like, I don't know, that's how I am with my brothers and sisters. Like, we fight constantly, and then whatever. We don't never not talk. So it's just weird. So I love working with him. He is tough. Of course he's tough. He's a Megatron star. His words, not mine. I would never say those words because I'm not a moron, okay? Anyway, I just sounded like my sister Karen right there. So, yeah, he's great. It is tough, but it's fun. So enjoy the videos. Always look on his site, or he has them on YouTube. I have a few. I'm going to put up a couple more on YouTube. He has a bunch on his YouTube channel as well. So where are we? Cheryl Curcio Paroli. I hope I said that last name right, because I only know Cheryl Curcio, and I always mess up her last name and her married last name. So she wants to know, why does it bother me when people touch my knees? Well, it does, okay? And that question does bother me, young lady. You're lucky I love you. You are lucky I love you. Cheryl's one of my favorite people on the planet. Her older sister and I are best friends, and she's 4 years younger, so I watched her grow up. She's the greatest kid. She's a school teacher. She's amazing. And yes, okay, my brothers tortured me. And for some reason, when they would hold me down, they would grab my knees, and it would drive me crazy. crazy. Sometimes on a plane, if it's too close and my knees bang, I'm like, I flip out. Okay, I don't know why I'm yelling or whatever I'm doing right now, but whatever I'm doing, I'm sweating. And I think I'm sweating because I've been eating so much and I have to lose. I literally gained 10 pounds during this whole, what have we been in, 40 days now, something like that? 10 pounds. That's not good. That's not good. And I'm working out, sometimes twice a day. Right now, it's so hot in LA. It's like a sauna in my apartment. I love it. I do like when it's hot out. It's weird. But yes, so they would hold me down, tickle my knees, and it drove me crazy, and I would beat the shit out of them if they did it. To this day, when I go home, my brother Billy will literally grab my knees first before he even says hello or gives me a hug. Nothing. Right to the knees. If somebody tries to grab my knees now that I told this story, I will bite you. I will bite you. Corona, I will like inject. Think of me as the bat that started all this bullshit, and I will right on you. Love you guys. Thank you. Be good.